Hey, great that you're on time for joining me on today's episode, because today I want to make a little review on forging the 50 Scorpion bottle openers before I continue with the Alec Steele challenge. So some of them came out good, some didn't, and we all want to achieve great quality in our products, so I thought let's have a look at the problems that appear in the forging process and how to avoid them. So let's sit down and have a talk. Here on the anvil I have a good example and two bad examples, and let's have a look at the good one first. So what are the important parts? Of course we have the tongs that need to be tapered, and then we have the platform here for opening the bottle cap. It's quite useful that the material here is thin and quite straight. Then you see that the body goes over into the structure of the bolt, and then it bends into the tail and then into the spike. So what's important on this part, it's important that the tail is tapered so that the spike has a very sharp tip. And it's important that this transition here, so where the spike bends from the tail, that this part is quite thin as well. And now that you know what is important for a good one, let's see what mistakes I did on the bad ones. Okay, let's start with the first mistake, or the first problematic area, which is, as you can see, the transition between tail and spike. You see that the transition here is way too thick, it just looks terrible. So now that we identified the problem, how do we solve it? I will show you here. Okay, as you saw me do, you really have to concentrate on flattening the spot where you bent the spike from the tail, and the best way for it is to use the edge of your anvil to flatten the spot. And now the second problem appears, which is the platform for opening the cap. The problem that can appear is this gap here. So the platform is not straight and has a straight edge, but there is a gap. This problem appears if you cut too deep in the flattened bolt head. So what means to cut too deep? If you imagine this as your original screw bolt, and then you flattened out the screw bolt head into a shape that looks roughly like this, then you have a transition between this spot here where you have plenty of material and the flattened head. There is the line. And don't cut in any way, don't cut over this line, no, but better stay a few millimeters away from the line with your cut. Imagine if you cut too deep, there is no material in this area here where the gap appears later on. There is no material that can be flattened out or drawn out into the platform. So watch out. What? You haven't seen part 1 and part 2? Then what are you doing? The links to part 1 and part 2 of the Alec Steele challenge are in the description below. So check them out. Alright, tell me how you liked this format of reviewing a product or a project and giving some advice to you. If you found this episode helpful, then like it, comment it and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.